Characters. There's a lot of iconic ones. Oftentimes the most iconic ones are tied to equally popular IPs and are usually the main character, acting as the face for the show or property as a whole. On the flip side, many of these characters, despite being from a TV show or media, are no longer just characters but also act as graphic designs, acting as a form of brand recognition. Now, on the surface, this isn't really a big deal at all, and it doesn't take away from the enjoyment of the show or the character, but upon further analysis, there are actually many reasons behind this, each with wider implications, that at the very least I thought would be somewhat interesting to discuss. If you've recently set foot in Penny's or Primark if you're a Brit, and have managed not to have your retinas burned by the sheer brightness of everything, then you've probably seen how many clothes, bags, and just general tat are decorated with a handful of the same characters, typically Mickey Mouse, Stitch, Hello Kitty, SpongeBob, and Elmo, just to name a few. This isn't something unique to Penny's, they just seem to be the most obvious example of this trend, but shops such as TK Maxx and Claire's are also valid examples. If we take a look at these characters, it's not hard to see why they've been put on so many pieces of clothing and items and just stuff. Principles of good character designs can often overlap with principles of a good graphic design, more specifically mascots, such as shape language, a recognizable silhouette, exaggeration and color being some of the most evident techniques. These play well both as an appealing character within their respective media, but also designs that can be put on various items. So now we have the artistic reasons as to why many classic characters have become mascots, but there's also a business reason. Many characters are part of a brand, which in of itself is part of a wider nexus. I think a big example of this is the influx of Hello Kitty merchandise over the past 2-ish years. While initially it was just Hello Kitty stuff, now it's not too difficult to find merchandise of other characters, such as Kuromi, My Melody, Cinema Roll, and even some previously less popular characters like Maru. Through the influx of Hello Kitty merchandise, more people who maybe only knew of Hello Kitty decided to then look at Sanrio as a whole and find out more characters. These characters get merchandise too, and the cycle continues. It's not like getting merchandise of these characters was ever particularly difficult, it's just that there was a good chance you were buying a bootleg. I think bootlegs are funny, like you can't tell me that this isn't charming in its own special way. Hardcore collectors of specific characters often try to avoid bootlegs, and thus selling licensed merchandise is simply an untapped market, and from a business perspective it does make sense. Flood the market with the official stuff to not only sell something people will undoubtedly buy, but also drown out some of the bootlegs. It really is just business. So now that the reasons behind this shift in market and overall marketing trend have been laid out, I'd like to talk about the results of this, both positive and negative. One thing I've noticed is that older people, like older teens and adults, are able to enjoy media they're nostalgic for, such as Sesame Street and like Teletubbies, in a fun, more low-key way. I think that that's kind of cool because I'm all for enjoying whatever you want, as long as you're not harming anyone. But I totally understand that as you get older, you probably want to enjoy a lot more childish interests in a more subtle way. I think this also applies in regards to discovering new interests. While this obviously doesn't apply for something as well known and iconic as Mickey Mouse and Disney, people might find some Sanrio merch, look more into the brand, and find something new that they enjoy. On the flip side, the overabundance of merchandise with iconic characters has led to a massive influx of products due to an increase of official licensing, and thus has resulted in overconsumerism. Videos with massive Sanrio hauls or Stitch hauls have become more and more prevalent. Don't get me wrong, I love finding things with Cinema Roll or Elmo on them, but like, nobody needs 15 pairs of pajamas and 20 hairbrushes. I do think, and I'll admit to doing this too, that sometimes we buy things just because we like the character on them, and there's nothing wrong with buying something just because it's nice, but it's definitely a slippery slope that can quickly and has become a trend in overconsumption and overconsumerism. I don't think the cute character to mascot pipeline is a wholly negative thing, and I don't think it's indicative of the quality of the source material, and as outlined, I think it can result in both positive and negative effects. I sort of just wanted to yap about it because it's something I noticed a while ago and thought it would make a somewhat interesting video. With all that said, I don't think there's anything else for me to add, so thank you for watching. I watched most of my older videos from here, sort of just starting fresh for a couple of personal reasons, but yeah, no big deal. But anyways, have a good day or night because time zones, and bye-bye.